Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Clancy, or the Weight Loss Warrior. I was going to make some notes for this second video to kind of break down the stages of my weight loss. And, I started on the Mediterranean diet for a year. And anyway, before I get started, I decided not to make any notes because I didn't want my video to last super long. So I think that I can go through this without having to stop and kind of get my mind back on track. But for the first year of my journey, I started out over 320 pounds back in 2018 is when I started this journey in August. And I started out on the Mediterranean for the first year. And on the Mediterranean diet, I really focused on um, basically just not eating a lot of processed foods, I cut out pizza and cake and things like that. But I primarily focused on eating Mediterranean style. So lots of chicken, quinoa, lots of beans, legumes, nuts, fruits, things like that. And in that first year or so, I lost between 75 and 90 pounds. It's hard for me to pinpoint exactly how much I lost because I do not remember what I weighed when my year was up on the Mediterranean, but it was between 75 and 90 pounds. And then I transitioned into the next phase, which is where I stuck to very low carb. And a lot of people refer to this as the ketogenic diet. I did not follow a ketogenic, like quote unquote, ketogenic diet. But I did pay attention to where my carbs were coming from, and I tried not to eat more than 30 grams of carbs a day. And in doing this, I cut out all sugar from my diet. Any sugar I was getting was coming from dairy, mostly from the milk sugar that's naturally in the dairy, as well as the occasional, like you find those keto ice cream treats and things like that that have like 4 grams of net carbs. But that being said, you really want to watch out for those sugar substitutes because a lot of them, especially like maltitol, they end up spiking your insulin way higher than normal cane sugar does. So I would like to encourage you, if you're on this journey, like don't go out and buy all of the keto treats or the keto flours. Throughout this whole journey that I have been on, I've maybe made one or two things using like coconut flour or almond flour or something like that, because for me, I have disordered eating, and that is just a very, very slippery slope. And of course, it tastes so good, and you're like, oh man, this is just as good as cake when you haven't had cake in 2 years. And then, of course, your body starts craving that. So it's a very slippery slope, in my opinion. So for me, it's just easier to just not even go that route and just to stick to clean, one ingredient whole foods. So I did that for a little over a year, just very, very low carb and paying attention to not spiking my insulin. And when I did this, I started researching Dr. Jason Fung's fasting research. And it is fascinating. If you guys have not looked into Dr. Jason Fung, you can find his website, thedietdoctor.com, or you can just watch his videos on YouTube. You can just search Dr. Jason Fung. He is the one who wrote the obesity code and cracking the cancer code, and he is just a brilliant mind. Oh my goodness, I'm so thankful that I came across his work. So I started intermittent fasting, and I'm a freak. The very first day that I was like, I'm gonna do this, I'm the type of person, I don't know where my willpower comes from. Like I said, I'm a freak of nature, but I kick-started my low carb phase of my journey with a 4-day fast. That is excessive. I do not recommend that you do that. But I just knew that if I was going to do it, I was just going to jump head first. And that really worked for me. It helped get my mind set and focused. And I knew if I could do 4 days worth of fasting, I could do anything. And I had already lost about 90 pounds at this point. So I did my 4-day fast, and about day 3, the mental clarity and the brain fog just lifted, and I had so much energy, and I just felt amazing. Like, I don't know what drugs feel like, but I felt like I was on drugs. I felt like I had taken something. I just felt like I had drank like 4 shots of espresso. I had so much energy, and that in itself was very encouraging to me. I was like, I can do this. And for the last little over a year, I've been doing very, very low carb and sticking to this, also while fasting. I am an OMAD, or a 1 meal a dayer, and so I know a lot of people will have negative things to say about not feeding your body more than once a day. A lot of people will say that you've got to be malnourished, that you're not getting enough nutrients, you're starving yourself. But in my opinion and in my personal experience, I have an entire lifetime of disordered eating. And for me, it takes so much pressure and so much anxiety out of my day to not have to worry about food and to not think about it. And when I'm eating really good sourced food, whole foods, good sources of fat, and fat is my fuel source, not sugar, not glucose. My body does not run off of glucose. It is run off of fat, because that is the fuel source that our bodies are designed to run off of. And when I'm eating good fat sources, I don't get hungry. It's amazing. I don't get hungry. So for me, it is very beneficial to not worry about food until I am done with my day, and I can just put all of my energy, focus all of my energy towards work and, my responsibilities. And then I get to come home at the end of the day and fix myself a really satisfying, hearty, healthy meal. And once I'm done eating, I'm so full that I don't even want anything sweet. And some days are easier than others, but I have just come to find that that works for me. So in the last little bit, I want to say it's been a couple months now, I have transitioned into this final stage of my journey. And I say it's the final stage because I have been practicing carnivore, and it is basically an elimination diet because you only eat animal meat. I still will have some dairy occasionally, like a little bit of half and half in my coffee, no more than like a tablespoon or 2, or like a small piece of hard cheese with my meal. Tonight I made 2 burger patties and put some shredded 0 carb cheddar cheese on top. You just want to be careful with shredded cheese that you buy in the store because it is, what's the word? Sorry, processed. They actually put this clumping stuff in it. It's almost like basically sawdust. They're putting sawdust in into the cheese to keep it from clumping together. It basically absorbs any moisture that gets in the bag. And that is insoluble. You cannot break that down, and it causes inflammation. So dairy is already very inflammatory. So if you are consuming dairy and you're trying to stay on a low carb diet, just be really conscious about getting shredded cheese that's prepackaged at the store. I would suggest if you're going to get cheese, get a block of cheese and shred it yourself, and that way you'll know that there's less of that filler in there, and you're not going to feel like crap later. But also, while doing carnivore, it leaves no room. There is no way for you to sneak sugars in there unless you're consuming dairy, too much dairy. I eat so little dairy though that I hardly even really count it as part of my meal for the day, because it's so little, and it's high fat. So like a heavy whipping cream or a half and half or something like that. I basically only consume high fat meats. My favorite is like brisket or the burnt ends from brisket. Those are really fatty cuts of meat. A good ribeye, can't go wrong with a ribeye cooked in butter. I had vegetables over the weekend. It was Easter this weekend, so on Sunday after church, I had some meat fajita, like, chicken fajita meat with fajita steak meat, and I had a little bit of the veg that goes with that, but not very much of it, just because I know that it will upset my stomach. I have a hard time breaking down the fibers in vegetables, and it's just that my body is not as evolved as some of you folks, who can eat all the vegetables and you're fine. But I've just got more of a ancestral makeup. My ancestors mainly ate meat, and so I just feel like I'm a little less evolved in that area, and that's fine, because this diet, and I don't even really refer to it as a diet anymore, this lifestyle, this way of eating, I eat to survive. I do not live to eat. Food is not entertainment for me anymore. It is merely so that I can re-nourish my body so that it's fueled and so that I can continue living. I have had to change the way that I think about food, how I meet food. And I think that the way I've done it was a very health conscious, very smart way, educated way of doing it. I've lost over 130 pounds in the last 2.5 years, but I have minimal excess skin, minimal sagging. I'm not saying that I don't have it, but it's minimal, and it's because I did not go on the strict keto diet where I'm flushing fat out so quickly, people losing like 80 pounds in 2 months. Like, that's insane. That is really hard on your heart. It's really hard on your body. It's also really hard on your body to gain weight quickly. So I just say, if you are on a journey to be healthy and to lose weight and to be happy, just do it one step at a time. You don't have to cross off or check 12 boxes in one day. Do a little at a time, especially if you struggle with food addiction. I want to encourage you to just not give up. The journey is not supposed to be easy, but it also was not easy putting all of that weight on your body. But the most important thing is consistency. If more times than not you make the right decision, you're on the right track. So I want to encourage you in that, and just don't give up. Like I said before, some days will be easier than others. Some days will be so hard that you fight every urge not to give up, and you'll probably want to give up 1,000 times in one day. But I promise you, nothing is more worth it. Nothing is more fulfilling than sticking with it and seeing results and feeling better. I feel so much better. I have so much less pain, so much less inflammation. I take no drugs. I take no medications at all for all of the ailments that I had before I started my weight loss journey. And that is a true testament to what cutting the sugar and the carbs and just the junk out of my diet has done for my life. So I hope that you're encouraged. If you liked this video, please hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that notification icon, the bell, so that you'll get more of my videos. I'm going to be trying to get my YouTube channel kickstarted and upload multiple videos for a few weeks here. And if you guys have any questions, please leave your comments in the comment section below. If you have specific things that you want me to touch on that were a part of my journey, or that you feel that I need to research more, please leave your comments. I just ask that everyone is kind and courteous. Please don't leave negative comments, just because this is a channel of encouragement and we're speaking life into each other and leaving all the negativity at the door. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining me again. This is Weight Loss Warrior. I'm Clancy, and I'll see you next time.